Trying to salvage the broken Syrian peace process, foreign ministers from around the world arrived in Vienna with an ambitious agenda. With allies of both the Syrian regime and the opposition at the table, it appears some progress was made.
We pledged our support for transforming the cessation of hostilities into a comprehensive ceasefire. And we committed to use our influence to use the parties to the cessation in order to ensure compliance. Second, we agreed that if a party to the cessation of hostilities engages in a pattern of persistent non-compliance, the task force can refer that behavior to the ISSG, ministers, or those designated by the ministers to determine appropriate action.
The delegates also said they would resume aid deliveries by June 1.
If we cannot reach them by land, as we have been doing together with the World Food Programme in Deir el-Zur successfully, having a joint operation between Russian Federation, US and other countries in dropping aid to 110,000 people, we need to start working hard in order to be able to look at the option within security limits.
But those meeting here are continuing to argue over Bashar al-Assad and whether he has a role in a future Syria. That derailed the UN-backed talks in Geneva last month, and the delegates admit they can't say when those talks will resume. When the delegates arrived here at the palace for the meeting, they faced an uphill battle. And now, as they leave, they still have plenty of work ahead of them. The success of these talks will be measured by whether or not their commitment to the cessation of hostilities and delivery of aid can be achieved and lead to political transition. With violence continuing inside Syria, delegates want all parties to the conflict to cut any ties they have with Daesh or the al-Nusra Front.
What is behind our efforts is a joint concern about increasing terrorism in the region and in Syria in particular. We have the problem of Jabhat al-Nusra. It makes alliances with some groups that seem to adhere to the cessation of hostilities.
The foreign ministers left the meeting urging both the Syrian regime and the opposition to return to the negotiating table and admitting they were concerned by the worsening violence in the country. Peace talks have wrapped up here now in Vienna, and both the US Secretary of State John Kerry and the Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov have both declared that some progress has been made in the peace process. They're looking to restore the cessation of hostilities and, if they can, extend that into a comprehensive ceasefire. Also, they're looking to make aid drops to the most besieged towns starting on June the 1st, and if they can't make it to these towns and cities by road, then they will drop the aid by air. However, there has been little progress on the sticking point of political transition and whether or not Bashar al-Assad will play a role in that political transition. Of course, this was the sticking point last month at the Geneva peace talks, and they eventually fell over because of that. Now, none of the ministers that were at the meeting could confirm when perhaps that peace process could pick up, and they all say really it will depend on just how well this cessation of hostilities and the aid drops go.